Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. So today I have worked out, I taught my classes, I ate lunch, I did some chores. So I thought now we can maybe settle down and do a little tag. So I'll tell you what, y'all go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I'm gonna get myself a tasty beverage while y'all do that, and then I will get settled and I'll meet you over on the couch and we will do how about the rapid fire tag? Let's do that one. So I'll meet you on the couch and we'll do the rapid fire tag. All right, y'all, I got my book tag notes. I got the furry felons as settled down as they ever are. I got my tasty beverage. So let's get started. And I'm going to make my general disclaimer about trying to do a video with the furry felons laying here. You know, at any given time, one of them is going to be sleeping and snoring. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time for the snoring that is going to happen during this video. So let's jump right into this tag. So this is, I don't know what I called this a few minutes ago, but it's called the rapid fire book tag. It's just a bunch of rapid fire questions you're supposed to answer in a rapid fire fashion. Now, y'all know when we start talking books, ain't nothing rapid fire about it, but we'll see how we do. So I have my questions here, and let's see. Question number one is physical or ebook? Y'all, my very first answer, of course, is it's complicated because, as y'all well know, I love me a good ebook, right? I read everything on my Kindle, but I also like to have my books in physical book form so that I can flip pages, I can sit and read. Oh, I was about to say it's upside down. It's not upside down. I can sit and read. I can use my color coordinated book flags. I can do all the things. So it's complicated. And my answer to physical or ebook is yes, please. Now, let me say this. I should have made this a New Year's resolution, but y'all know we didn't do those. I should have resolved that this year I'm going to try to read more ebook, like books that I have in ebook format, that I'm not going to go out and buy the physical book. I'm just going to buy the ebook and just be okay with that. I really need to make a concerted effort to do that, especially since I have Kindle Unlimited. Y'all, I am the absolute worst for finding a book on Kindle Unlimited, deciding that I'm going to read it, and then going out and buying the physical copy because I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to want to read a physical book one day or the ebook, so I want to have them both just in case so I can flip back. Look, Daisy's so disgusted, she just left me. That's bad when your dog leaves you. So I need to do that. Daisy. So I need to be better about doing that, about reading, like if I have it on an ebook, read it on just the ebook with Kindle Unlimited, and using like BookBub and Pixel of Ink to find cheap ebooks. I do that too. I'll find a cheap or a free ebook on there and then go and buy the physical. Why am I telling y'all this? That's not even the question. Moving on. Physical or ebook? Yes, please. Number two, oh, good Lord. Y'all, we shouldn't, whose idea was it to do this? Number two is paperback or a hardback book. Yes, please. Y'all, I just like books. I like paperback books. I like hardback books. And then I've seen people talking about if you have the hardback book. I jumped way ahead of myself. Did I even talk about where this tag came from? So this one, this rapid fire book tag has been around for a while. And it started back, like the earliest that I've seen is 2017. And that version of it that I've seen refers to a YouTube. I don't know if the page is no longer there, but this link is no longer hot. And it's a page called Girl Reading on YouTube. So to the best of, like the best information I've been able to find through my research is that this tag originated from Girl Reading on YouTube. So now that that's out of the way, a couple tags into it, paperback or hardback. So I've seen people talking about hardback books, if you keep the sleeve on it or not. Y'all, that's there to protect your book. Well, so then I've seen people talking about if they leave that like paper sleeve on it, that gets all torn up. Y'all be nicer to your books. And that sleeve is on there to keep your book from getting torn up. So I like paperbacks, I like hardbacks, and I keep the sleeve, the cover thing on my hardback book. What's wrong with you people? One thing I do not like, and I don't know why, but I don't like trade size paperbacks, y'all. That is like the most first world of first world issues is I like paperback books, but not trade size paperbacks. Like no, that's not true. That's exactly wrong. I like trade size paperbacks. I don't like mass market paperbacks. So I like this size paperback. I'm reading this book now, by the way. Soulless. We'll be talking about this at some point. But y'all saw me haul this, and I said I was going to read it this year. I am. What? Why can't we do a rapid fire about books? I do like trade size. I don't like mass market paperbacks. I don't know why. But like I specifically try to avoid buying mass market paperback books. I know. Talk about first world issues. I have issues. So, dust jacket on or off? On. Dust jacket or like the, I don't know what I called it a minute ago. How many times in a video do I say, I don't know what I called or I don't know what I said? What's wrong with me? I truly don't. I clearly don't listen to myself when I speak, but dust jacket on because it protects your book and it's pretty. All right, that's number 2. Online or in-store bookshop? Y'all know the answer to this question. I like them both, but I do way better shopping online than in person because in person I lose my mind and just buy all the stuff because I think I get anxious. Like I get like, I don't know if it's FOMO. I don't know what my damage is, but in person when I'm like touching books, I want to buy all the books. But online, I'm able to like calm myself down and I still buy way too many books, but I can at least online sort of discern between the 30 books in my cart and kind of like sort them out and figure out which ones I actually want to get and like get those ones versus all the ones. Where in person, I just put them all in my cart or like in my basket or whatever, and then I just buy all the books. So I do like going to bookstores. I like being around people that read. I like the smell of bookstores. I like the feel of bookstores. Can y'all see her? She's about to lose her mind. So if we jump in a minute, it's going to be because she has lost her mind. But I do like going to bookstores, hanging out in bookstores, touching things in bookstores, being around people in bookstores. But I really need to shop online because that does better for my brain. Trilogy or series? It's a very good question. And y'all know that I continue to get involved in these like series that are so very long, or it's like a series that leads to a series that leads to another series that will take me to the book that I actually intend to read. Case in point. And then most recent case in point. So I like a good trilogy. I like if it's legit a trilogy, not like, so this aggravates me. You read a trilogy and then the author comes out with like the prequel and then like a 1.5 and a 1.75. Quit it out. If it's a trilogy, then you've committed to 3 books. Be done with it, acknowledge and move on. Do not give me the backstory of don't stop it. So a trilogy that's a true trilogy, like the author ends it and it's done and you walk away. I like that. And I do really love a series where you can like get into the characters and like get into the world building and all of the things and really get to know characters. And I even kind of like a series where you get stuck in a book with a character that you hate and you have to keep reading it like to get through that one to go on to the next one. Because y'all, that's just life, right? Sometimes you got to take the crunchy with the smooth. So I've not answered this question at all. Trilogy or series? Yes, please. All of my, so far, physical or ebook, yes. Paperback or hardback, yes. Online or into, okay, in online for bookstores, online. The Trilogy series, yes, please. Worst, the worst. Number 5 is Heroes or Villains. That's a good one because y'all know I love a flawed character, but I don't like characters that are this hero, but not but and. Hang on, back up. Hero and I like a flawed hero. So I don't like the like shiny, always nice, always perfect, everything is great. I like the hero that you have to like try a little bit to like. I don't like villains. Like I don't like bad guys. Is that dumb? Like, does anybody like bad guys? I think some people like bad guys. I don't like villains, but I like heroes that are a little bit dirty. A book that you want everybody to read. Come on. This one has a bit of a time bias for me. I was actually talking to my mom just yesterday about, I keep wanting to say The Mardian, which if you saw my vlog on when I talked about having read Project Hail Mary, you know that when I see the name The Martian, I think of Clueless when Cher's talking about Haiti and she talks about the Haitians. So when I see the name of the book, The Martian, I think The Mardian, like Cher says Haitian. It's probably wrong on like 17 different levels, but I'm not talking about the book The Mardian. I'm talking about Project Hail Mary. I think that is a fantastic book. And I don't know that there's any type of reader that wouldn't like that book because it's, I would say it, I think it's, I don't know what it like counts as, but it's literary fiction. It's fantasy. Y'all, it's so good. I know it's fantasy, but no, science fiction. It's science fiction. Because it's, friends of mine had a like 3-hour debate on a live stream one day while they were playing games or doing something about the difference between fantasy and science fiction. Maybe they're talking about fantasy and science fantasy. I don't know the difference in all of those things, but Project Hail Mary, the like fantasy fiction part is based on science. So I'm calling it science fiction. If that's not right, y'all tear me up in the comments. It's fine. It's okay. I'll be wrong about that. But I don't care because I still love the book. And I think that it's got fantastic characters. They are very well fleshed out. There are characters that are sympathetic enough, like likable enough, that I think people who tend to like romance, this is not a romance book, but people who tend to like romance books will enjoy meeting and learning about and following the characters in Project Hail Mary and following what they go through. Because it's not a romance, but there is sort of there is a relationship that develops in the book that's, y'all know I love romance. I love rom-coms. And the relationship in Project Hail Mary fed that for me. But this vlog is not about Project Hail Mary, so I'm gonna just answer the question and say that the book that I think everyone should read is Project Hail Mary. Question number 7 is recommend an underrated book, which I am changing to, and y'all, I know, but I'm changing it to pan an overrated book. And I have 2 overrated books, and y'all know what they are. If you've been around for a little minute, you know what they are. One is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which everyone loved. I hated that book. And Red, White, and Royal Blue. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I think, had great potential. I liked the story, but Zevin, is that the author's name? Zevin's writing, I felt was tortured. I felt like she just randomly shoved in hard words and that she shoved in social justice issues where they didn't need to be. And they were important issues that she was jamming in there, which, I don't know, I was just super disappointed. I mean, and maybe that's, I've talked about this before, I'm not going to get all back up into it. maybe that's part of why I hate that book so much, is because I had such high hopes for it, and I didn't think that it was good. No, it didn't live up to what I thought, like the hype that I felt was around it. And then to see her just jamming in these social issues the way that she did, I just did not. I thought it was awful. So tomorrow, and then Red, White, and Royal Blue was, yeah, it just wasn't good. Same thing. People just absolutely fawned all over it. And I feel like both of those books, I think part of why people fawned all over them was because of the social issues that were in them, like the social justice stuff that was in them. And I think that it's okay to agree with a social justice issue and disagree with a book that talks about it. So, I mean, not disagree with a book, but like not like a book that talks about it. So those are my two answers to a question that nobody asked. Overrated, books that I thought were overrated. Tomorrow, Red, White, and Royal Blue. Last book you finished. I just last night finished reading, it's still on this Kindle, The Secret History. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'll stick the book in here. The Secret History, which I will talk about in a video soon. I'm still processing. It's one of those that's one you got to chew on for a while. So I just finished that last night. The last book I bought, the last book that arrived here, I don't know, I think it was actually even the last book that I bought was The Teacher by McFadden. Can't think of her first name. The one that did the Maid or the Housemaid or the Handmaid, whatever that book is. It's something McFadden. Why can't I think of her first name? Anyway, The Teacher. Weirdest thing you use as a bookmark. Y'all know I use these. I just pulled that out of my... I just whipped the bookmark out of my book, which is okay because of course I'm reading on my Kindle too, so who does that? I use these things. I have used all the things. I've used absolutely anything I could get my hand on. Hair tie. For a while I was obsessed with those like book bungees. So then I got in my head that I had to have something to go around the book. So I would put like rubber bands on my books. Of course I've used pencils, pens, like stuck in the books. One thing I will not do is I will not dog-ear the pages of a book. And y'all, when I buy a book that has dog-eared pages, it makes me sad for the book. Like I will go through, y'all have seen me in a video, I'll be talking and realize that there's a bent page in a book and have to straighten it out like while I'm talking because it makes me sad that somebody does that to a book. Used books, yes or no? 100% yes. That was number 11. Top 3 favorite genres. I don't know if they're supposed to be in order. So I'm going to call romance just like all together, like actual romance, rom-com, contemporary romance, because that would be all 3 of mine right there. So romance, y'all, remember my first fantasy book that I read? What I thought was my first fantasy book, and then I realized I had read other books that were fantasy, but that I liked them so much I didn't think, like at the time I was like, oh, that's not fantasy. Remember I read, what was the one with the ogre that made coffee, Legends and Lattes? And then it was after that I was like, oh, I'm going to read my first fantasy book. Then I was like, oh, wait, the book with the ogre, actually orc. She's an orc. Good Lord, I've been calling her an ogre. The orc. Then I'm like, oh, yeah, orcs don't actually exist, so that's fantasy too. Okay, so anyway, romance, fantasy, and just regular old contemporary fiction, I guess. So romance, fantasy, contemporary fiction. Borrow or buy? Mostly buy. I also borrow, but y'all, I live in this little country burg. I need to do that thing where you can go and like get library cards from different... I heard somebody say that, I don't know if it's every state, but that if you have a library card that you can go to like other library systems within your state and get their library cards. I need to try that because there are other library systems around here and I can get their cards and use them in my Libby app and I wouldn't have to wait so long for books and like audio books in Libby because that's why I end up not borrowing. Like I can physically check out books and like my library will borrow them from like within the state. but I never think to do that. So what I usually end up trying to borrow are ebooks and audio. I keep wanting to say Audible. That's why when I say audio, it sounds like I'm translating from a foreign language. Audiobooks on Libby, and my library is so lame that there's always like a 6-month wait. So then I end up being like, oh, I'll just put it on hold. And then I get 2 weeks into it and be like, all right, well, I'm just going to buy it. So theoretically borrow, but real life buy. Character or plot, meaning which one is more important? That's a tough one. I think, oh gosh, probably both, but I think really character. Because, yeah, probably character. Because I've probably read some really lame books and I just get distracted because I like the characters and like the banter and whatever's happening between the characters that I don't even notice that the plot is just completely stupid. So probably character. Long or short books? I guess it depends on what you consider long or short. Like, I'm good up to about 350, maybe 400 pages. But once it starts getting beyond that, unless it's really good, like Johnny Kavanagh, the Johnny Kavanagh books, what are they called? Binding 13 and all those ones, they're like this long, but you wouldn't know it by me. So I guess lamest answer other than my other lame answers is it really depends. And so here's the thing. If I'm worried about the length of the book, like if I'm noticing the length of the book while I'm reading it, it's not the length of the book that's the issue. Because a good book, I feel like you don't even notice the length. Like you get to the end and you're like, wait, what, did that just end? Like where'd my friends just go? So that's probably a dumb answer, isn't it? But that's the best I got, sorry. How about long or short chapters? Same thing. Like, I don't care how long a chapter is if things are happening in it. If it's like just blathering on about absolutely nothing, then the issue isn't the length of the chapter, it's that nothing's happening in the chapter. So again, quality versus quantity on those two. Just don't suck. Like that's my theory on those. Just don't suck. First 3 books you can think of right now. Binding 13, because I was just talking about it, Beartown Always, and Solace, which is the other book that I'm reading. It's the book that I'm reading. Books that made you laugh or cry. Oh, sweet Jesus, I got to put down my tea for this. Y'all know. The book that made me cry, okay, Kristen Hanna pretty much always makes, I've read one Kristen Hanna book that didn't Kristen Hanna me, like Rearrange My Molecules, make me cry. Beartown changed the way that I think about books. Like, I need to stop doing this, y'all. Like, reading ebooks without owning the actual physical copy and getting over myself about Beartown need to be like my 2 resolutions for the year, because I don't give star reviews for books, because to me, Beartown is 5 stars and nothing has been Beartown to me so far. And by Beartown, I mean the trilogy. So what I need to do is like have a 6th star, which is Beartown. And so then other books can be 5-star books. Beartown affected me so much that, y'all, there are still times, honest to goodness, when did we read The Winners? Has it been 2 years now? I read The Winners, that, like I said, so for those of you who are like, what is she even talking about? Beartown is a trilogy by Richard Bachman. And it's about a hockey team in this small town in Sweden. And y'all, if you haven't read Beartown, I actually kind of envy you right now, because what happens in Beartown hasn't happened to you in your life yet. So the ending of Beartown broke my heart so bad that there are still times that, like, I'll think about, like, I'll be like, oh, the bass player, and just start crying. It's been 2 years. 2 years. Y'all, I reread the 3rd book okay, so for my book club, we read book 1, did book 1, read book 2, did book 2. Book 2 broke my heart. And then I told them I'm not doing, because I like lead conversations in book club, said I'm not doing book 3 because I cannot, like I can't, that's going to kill me. I can't do it. So read book 3, broke my heart, cried for 2 days. Well, then we said for book club, we were just going to have like one conversation about it. So then I reread the whole trilogy to prepare myself for that conversation. Y'all, Gen Xers and boomers, you'll get me when I say this. So back in the 80s, we grew up watching Saturday Night Live, right? We watched SNL reruns. And remember Gilda Radner? Well, Gilda did, I know y'all, I know, this was supposed to be rapid fire, I'm sorry. Gilda did a Gilda Live on Broadway. And it was, I don't know how we got it on VCR tape, but like they must have shown it on like, I don't know, not PBS, but on like one of the super stations. So we had it and we could watch it. And of course, we memorized it. Well, at one point, one of her characters is talking about watching the movie The Way We Were. And she says that she saw it like 9 times, but she cried 10 times because she loved it so much that she cried on the way to the theater to watch it the 9th time. So she cried 10 times. Y'all, that was me reading the Beartown trilogy because I knew what was coming and just like reliving all of those moments with my friends. I was a sniveling mess. Anyway, it's literally the longest answer to a short question that anyone has ever given. Book that made me cry, actually laugh and cry, the Beartown trilogy. Books that made me laugh out loud. Binding 13 had me laughing. A lot of books make me laugh out loud. Make me laugh. Binding 13 seriously had me laughing out loud. We just talked about Butcher and Blackbird. That's a funny one too. But okay, I'm going to end this question because I've been talking about it for 20 minutes. Our world or fictional world? Fictional world. Although, I don't know if that means fantasy. Like, I like fiction. I don't like reading nonfiction books. So, not our world if it means like fiction or nonfiction. And I do like fantasy, but I like fiction in like our world, like not fantasy world fiction. If I had to choose between like regular fiction or fantasy fiction, regular fiction. Audiobook, yes or no? Yes. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? Seriously, y'all, who doesn't judge a book by its cover? Yes. Yes, I judge a book by its cover. Am I ever completely wrong and end up reading absolute utter pablum like Wreck the Halls? Yes, I do. And it was my fault and I suffered through it. But from that, I discovered my love of Lucy Score. So yes, I judge a book by its cover. Book to movie or TV, book to movie or book to TV adaptation, never, ever. I won't watch them. Okay, I take that back. There's one that I like. It's Silence of the Lambs. I don't remember if I watched the movie first or read the book first, but I won't even watch shows, any adaptation made from a book that I even like, let alone love, because I hear and see the characters a certain way, and once I see somebody else's, I'd never like somebody else's version of them. I was reading, I showed y'all the book that I just finished, The Secret History, and I was having trouble sorting the characters in my head, and I knew if I just kept reading that it would be fine, but I was like, oh, let me go on Pinterest. What am I, freaking 16? I was like, oh, let me go on Pinterest and see, like, because of course there's like fan art or whatever on there of the characters. So I did that to try to like sort the characters. Just the worst idea. It was a stupid idea. I never should have done it. I knew I wouldn't like it. And then I kept reading the book and I sorted the characters out in my head on my own. So no, I never like anybody else's version of characters that I read. And finally, series or standalone, we kind of already answered this with trilogy or series. Both kind of. I get nervous when I read a first book in a series and I like it, any kind of series like duology, trilogy, actual series. I get nervous when I like, especially like if I love a first book, like Ninth House. I'm horrified to read Hellbent because what if it's not good? Or Fourth Wing, horrified to read the whatever the Flame book is. So I like series, like I like to continue to hang out with my friends, but I'm always afraid that whatever comes next isn't going to be as good as the first one. So I like a good series, but it always makes me a little nervous. And y'all, that's it. That was our rapid fire book tag. But unfortunately, it wasn't all that rapid fire, but we made it through. Y'all, let me know in the comments, have you done this tag? I tell you what, I will put the questions in the description. So if you want to go back and answer all the questions, any of the questions, if you've done this tag and you want to link us to it, please do that. Do any or all of the below, above, whatever. Do any or all of those things in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos at the beginning of every week with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.